Hi, my name is Rob Gordon, and I do a bit of event planning and community organizing in my area, San Diego, California. The event I've been working on hardest lately is a group for adults with ADHD, because I have ADHD and I think it's important. And there isn't another one in this area that I know about. I originally started the group on Meetup.com, and we were eventually able to build it to 50 members, but it was a slog getting there, not at all easy. And our initial events, meetings we had were not all that well attended. I mean, getting a half a dozen people, we thought we were doing really good. So here, for example, is an announcement for our second meeting, which has a picture from our first meetup. And as you can see, there are only 4 people in the selfie that was snapped there. There was one other person who didn't want to be photographed the date I had that evening. But at the time, there had been another much larger meetup group of about 500 people, and it was run by a group of professional psychologists. But they weren't active at all. I don't think they were I'm not sure if they ever hosted any events, or they did just a few. And they wouldn't return any of my email message. I would have rather just joined a much larger group and just got the benefits of it without necessarily having to be the organizer. But we tried and tried to get a hold of them. They wouldn't. And even worse than that, they had automated events, which means they had an event in a coffee shop once a week. They would just be automatically created, unhosted. No one would be there. And people would get duped into going there. Taking your time and going to a meeting and finding there's no one there. You're just in a normal coffee shop. I thought that was a horrible practice. I don't think it should even be allowed, but they were doing that. Then about 9 months ago, that community was abandoned, meaning they stopped paying for it. And the way Meetup works is they put groups like that have been abandoned basically up for grabs to whoever wants to pay for it. And of course, I jumped at the opportunity because it had about 500 members. And I figured I could turn it around. I thought it was just a fantastic opportunity. I could finally build a community for adults with ADHD in my region, which I think would have been great. And with this, our attendance did improve, but just a little bit. But what did happen, it did become easier to attract new members because they would see the event or the meetup group with a large number of members. And they could see that it was more or less active now because we're posting new pictures and new events. But I always had suspicions about that. We brought it up to 600. We grew up maybe by 100 members, brought that number up to like 600. But I always had suspicions about that, of whether that was real or not. I was paying about $20 a month for the service. And to tell you the truth, I thought it was way overpriced at that. I thought the technology was mediocre at best. I just didn't think we were getting much value for that. $20 a month is, what's that, $240 a year? And you can get that bill down a little bit by paying 6 months in advance, but I'm never quite in the my finances are less than ideal right now. There's always something else that has priority. So I just never got around to that. So $20 a month, I just kind of put up with it because I thought I was doing so much good. So here, for example, is the announcement for our next meetup, which is in just a few days. And I have a picture from a previous meetup, also at the local saloon we go to, Old Town Cafe in San Diego, Old Town Saloon in San Diego. And as you can see, we had a decent turnout at this particular meeting, about a dozen, and that we consider that good. We get 10 or 12 people. We're pretty happy. But then just on the 17th of the month, I got this letter from Meetup.com, this lovely little note. We're reaching out about an upcoming price change to your Meetup subscription. At the moment, our team is working hard on several improvements to the platform, all aimed at enhancing your community engagement. We're excited to tell you about what's in the works. But first, let's go over the new price, reflecting the updates on the horizon. As of your next renewal, 7/16/2024, the price of your monthly subscription will be USD $44.99, that's $45 a month, excluding applicable taxes. We understand a change in pricing might initially not set well with our meetup organizers. Please know that it's grounded in our commitment to providing you with a more feature-rich, stable, and impactful platform. We'll be able to sustain and accelerate such improvements thanks to this adjustment, And we can't wait for you to see the value they bring to your Meetup experience. A glimpse of what's already in development: improved communication features. Regular and reliable interactions with your members are crucial for building your community. So we're working to make Meetup's communication features more streamlined, efficient, and effective. AI enhanced recommendations. To spark more lively participation in your communities, we're refining our AI models to deliver personalized event and group recommendations. Platform reliability and bug fixes. We're investing in robust technology upgrades to ensure Meetup runs smoother than ever, while identifying and fixing bugs as quickly as possible, and more. This is not only the start of big plans for Meetup, with plenty more enhancements, updates, and new features in the pipeline. We hope you're excited as we are about the future of Meetup. With regards to the price change, you don't have to take any action. You're always free to adjust your subscription in your account settings. Thank you for your support in business. We're committed to providing you with quality services and make a meaningful difference in how you connect with people and create impact. And we're here to help if you need it. Sincerely, your Meetup team. This came 1 minute after midnight on the 16th and gave me 30 days notice to make all these changes, either get out or warn, tell all my members or whatever. So they kind of have us trapped. They know how much work we've done in building this. We can't leave in a month. So it's kind of like blackmail. I am not a happy camper about this. I think it's wrong. I think it's greedy. I think it is a bald-faced ripoff. So let me first talk about that pricing increase. Going from $20 a month to $44.99 a month. By the way, I really got fooled by that 99 cents. I thought it was 45, but since it's only $44.99, I'm much relieved. But seriously, that is more than a 100% increase. 125% increase to be exact. That is outrageous. No other business can get away with that. The reason they're doing it is because they know they have you trapped. You've done all this work to make your community, to build your community, work almost on their behalf. They consider it their customers, their members, not yours. And you're essentially working for them now. And they know you can't get out of it. They sent that message 1 minute after midnight to make it even harder. They give them 3 months advance, 2 months warning or something. And it still wouldn't be justified, but at least they would have been doing something. No good explanation. They just want more money. So that's outrageous enough. When you add that up, that is $540 a year. For a crappy online service, this simply is not any good. I don't want to talk too much about my personal situation. I get a little bit of Social Security money. I'm 70 years old. I get a little bit of Social Security money. I have an online store that brings in a little bit more, not much. I'm barely making it. This is something I was doing for the public good, not to enrich the fat cats at meetup.com. So, I mean, I am very disturbed that they did this. I'm disturbed at the way they did this. I'm disturbed that they think they can get away with it. And they apparently did get away with it. So to correct my earlier comment, it's not blackmail technically, it's extortion, which is just as bad. This is extortion, which should be illegal. That's what they're doing. Let's call it what it is. So let's go back to their reasons for pricing. I kind of read through that letter they sent kind of quickly. This is the actual page where they announced the changes. New organizer pricing, key improvements, they call it. So they talk about the pricing. I've already gone over that. Now, here's their reasons. Reason number 1 in bold font, building a stable base. To tackle pressing issues effectively and prepare for future enhancements, we're performing a complete overhaul of the existing Meetup backend architecture. With 2 decades of development behind it, the technological system has grown very complex. The product is written in multiple coding languages, and the website uses 4 different servers. As such, the entire system needs to be rebuilt and a cohesive foundation that can support both crucial fixes and new features. Through a major engineering undertaking, this foundational work will set the stage for faster, more effective updates moving forward. I have one thing to say about that. Who the fuck cares? This is insider baseball. This is your internal programming. This gives me nothing. This is like saying, you give me $1 million because I'm going to do awesome things in the future. The rest of us can't get away with that. The only reason you're even getting away with that is because you're doing this extortion meetup. Next thing, addressing top customer concerns. In the months following our acquisition, we've been listening closely to your feedback. Well, one whole month you've been listening. And going over every aspect of the platform with a fine-tooth comb. As a result, we've identified ongoing issues in key areas such as communicating with members, managing attending lists, updating event information, and joining events and groups. And we've made fixing these issues a top priority. Well, I'm happy to see it's a top priority. This whole paragraph is totally unadulterated bullshit, because I can tell you what event organizers really want. They want the full communication information from their members. It is their members. They did the work to get them. And at least their email address, they don't abuse those. Those are just used to contact people for event information that has to go through you now. That is just nonsense. I hope nobody falls for that. Next main bullet point they have, improving core functionality. Progress may appear slow at first, giving our initial focus on the core technological improvements mentioned above. However, substantial advancements are quickly happening behind the scenes. And once the groundwork is laid, you'll notice a much faster pace of improvement. Here are the main areas we're working on, and we'll continue prioritizing in the short term. Again, who the hell cares? This is them, not us. Effective communications features. Greater member acquisition. We're making major investment in bringing new members to Meetup, encouraging new and more people to discover the platform and join your communities. As a result, we expect an increasing number of people to find out about and have the opportunity to join your events. Well, you're not going to have that many people if you have fewer organizers. I think you're going to have a lot fewer organizers. Of course, people want more people to join their groups, but that's something you should be doing anyway. Are you just saying you just figured that out now? Total nonsense. Data and AI-driven recommendations. Oh my goodness, we're going to have AI now. That's so exciting. Let's come back to that point. I'd like to address that separately. Continued investment in platform reliability and bug fixes. We're putting a lot of resources in making sure Meetup runs smoother than ever for reliable services and hassle-free event organization. Even as we move forward with new innovations, we'll continue to prioritize optimizing functionality and fixing bugs as quickly as possible. You're going to fix bugs? Why aren't you doing that now? Why haven't you been doing it? We don't care. That's not what we want. Last close out to this, an ongoing journey. Meetup was created to unite people through meaningful connections and shared experience. Today, the platform supports a community of members and organizers spanning 100,000 cities, 193 countries, and countless interests and causes. As organizers, you've been a fundamental part of these achievements, I'll say so. And I look forward to reaching even greater heights together. The entire team and I are fully committed to bringing you a platform that's faster, more effective, and always delightful to use. So you can continue bringing connection and community to people's lives. Thank you for choosing Meetup as home for your community. Signed, Chiara. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Their product lead for Meetup. What nonsense. How insulting. I mean, they could just say, increased costs have forced us to do this, but I don't know how you can justify 125% increase. Unless you have your customers trapped, nobody can do this because they just leave. Back in the olden days when I was a kid, not even long after I was a kid, when software just started being more of a thing, it was considered a code of honor among software developers that you always had to have an export to be able to get that. Nobody should ever feel trapped by your software. It should be so good that people should want to stay there. If they didn't want to stay there, they could just push a button and export all their data to some other system. A quaint notion from a bygone era. These people have no honor, obviously. So I said I wanted to come back into bragging that we're going to have AI in the new meetup.com, as if nobody else in our society is talking about AI these days. The other day when I was planning a couple weeks ago when I was planning my last event, I had written the whole thing up, had it really well organized. Then I saw a button on there on the create event page. This is after I had already written up. I screwed up because I didn't keep it to a text file. But I said, I'll try the AI. I just assumed the thing, it was well enough designed that it would just improve my text of what I had already written up. And if I didn't like it, it would have an easy way to back out. It came up with the most demented stuff I have ever seen in my life. It was beyond demented. It was just absolutely deranged. And apparently did a mashup of every event I've ever done and blended them all together and came out completely nonsense. I wish I'd saved a screenshot. So let's try it right now in real life. I'm trying to. I don't know what will happen this time. If it will be that bad. I've got a completely blank event here. I hope this doesn't destroy something else because the stuff is so bad. So I'm just going to say there's nothing here. I'm just going to say generate an event with AI. Let's see what happens. It's doing it. It doesn't even know where it's located. It's going to make it up. Join, hey, look, a scroll. No commas, no quotes. So already, for fun and relaxed social meetup, focusing on adult ADD, ADHD, and mental health support. We will gather at a local park for a squirrel spotting walk. What? We're going to do squirrel? What the fuck? Followed by a casual chat session where you can make new friends and connect with others in the neurodiversity community. In the spirit of our previous events like ADHD Chill and Chat in Ocean Beach and ADHD Mint Mingle plus a dose of reggae, this gathering combines the joys of nature with the opportunity to mingle and share experiences with like-minded individuals. Whether you have ADHD or are a supporter, this event is a welcome space for all. Let's squirrel away some fun and time for relaxation, connection, and maybe even a bit of squirrel-themed fun! Exclamation point. Okay, that's pretty horrible. It's not as bad as the one I had before. It just looked like some lunatic wrote it. But we're going to have a squirrel sporting walk. It just makes shit up. I mean, I guess all AI AI usually doesn't just make shit up. Anyway, AI, totally useless. Do you trust this company to use AI? And what for? Worthless. Totally worthless. I'd like to mention real quickly one other lovely experience I've had with Meetup.com. That is with their message boards and their discussion boards. They actually have 2 or 3 different message boards on this system. They mentioned it themselves. The what's called the discussion board is a quick chat session you can have after events. And then there's a message board. There's another one, I think, on the event itself. There's several. It did cause confusion. They mentioned that in their letter. It's a legitimate thing to work to fix. The way they did it, of course, maximize the damage to the community as much as you possibly can. That seems to be the Meetup.com theme these days. So let me just look. This is their discussion board. It was the most sophisticated. It allows you to attach messages, even videos. Theoretically, you could even embed videos like YouTube videos, which I wanted to do for my ADHD group to get some discussions going. I spent quite a bit of time organizing this, and it has some good tools to let you organize it, spend a ton of time, and then I got this lovely surprise announcement, only a few weeks ago. Message boards will no longer be available after June 18th, 2024. Flushed all the work, about 10 or 20 hours of work I did. I don't know how many, a lot. Flushed right down the toilet. Total waste of time. I essentially did work for free for Meetup. We're going to have to adjust to that. You work for Meetup now. If you're an event organizer, you're an unpaid employee of Meetup. Your members are theirs. The technology is theirs. The email contacts the member contacts are yours. Everything belongs to them. They can change the rules at will. Give your community up to someone else. You do not own it. You have no rights whatsoever. They own it. They can do whatever they want, and they're proving it. They just flushed a ton of work down the toilet, threw away a good part of their system. Maybe they'll come up with something better. I no longer care because I no longer trust them. So remember I mentioned earlier that my group has 600 members. Kind of proud of that. That was really cool to have a group with, adults with ADHD with 600 members. There's many more in our region, but that was pretty cool, and it did attract some more users. But I always had doubts about that. Again, I acquired this group. I had built a group up to about 50 people and took over a much larger group, which Meetup allows people to do. It's kind of a questionable approach. It certainly means they consider themselves the owner of your members. But here is the membership list for my group. Hey, look a squirrel. And this, you can sort it different ways by last visited, by the name of the person or the date joined. This is sorted by last visited. So I wanted to go back, since this has been in existence for 9 months, to get an idea of whether I really have 600 members. Very easy. I've been sending messages out all the time to people. Some people, certainly most of the people I thought would have at least clicked and looked at least occasionally. Maybe not every time, maybe not even all of them, but I thought at least most of them would get the message. So I didn't occur to me until I saw Meetup pull this other stuff that I really should take a serious look at this. And this is how I figured out to do it. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. Other people could have figured this out before me, probably. So I just sorted this by the date they're last visited. Then I went back 9 months. And since this is an infinite scroll system, you can do that. And I don't think I'll put you through that. I'll just tell you the number. In 9 months, only 134 people have visited. We have had about 30, 40 people come to our meetings, so I know have some. Only 134 out of 600 have even visited. What does that mean? Are these dead accounts? Are they people just never go to Meetup anymore? Do they end up in spam folders? Or are they even emails that bounce? Now, if that's the case, if they're emails that bounce, that's fraud. That's outright fraud, because that means these aren't even real numbers. So meetup.com, you're being called out on this. I can't prove anything, but that's extremely suspicious. Please let me know in the comments if you've had something similar to this happen, because all I'm getting for that 600 members now is kind of bragging rights. But I'm an honest person. I don't like bragging about things that aren't true. So I can no longer say I have 600 members, because we don't have 600 members. I mean, I don't know how many members we have. All I can count is the people who've actually come to meetings, about 30 or 40 maybe. But this is just nonsense and maybe fraud. So the next thing I think we have to ask here is, how did this happen and why did this happen? For that, I went to Perplexity, because I had heard that they were acquired by WeWork, that horrible co-working space company, got billions of dollars, Adam, whatever his name was, and then crashed. That was in the news. I'm not going to look it up now. So I went to Perplexity and asked them, was it bought by somebody else? What's going on? How did that happen? So I understand that Meetup.com was bought by WeWork and subsequently may have changed owner again. Can I guess a history of its owners and investors over the past 5 years? So it was acquired by WeWork in 2017. WeWork only owned it for 3 years, from 2017 to 2020. Then it was divested from WeWork in 2020 and acquired by a company named AlleyCorp, which is a New York-based venture capital firm. Then it had its current ownership structure. Kelly Ryan of AlleyCorp became the chairman of Meetup board. David Siegel remains CEO and board member. These names don't mean anything to me, and they're not important for my purposes here. But I had heard of even something else happened, so I asked to go back in time. It apparently had been run by the same people for a while, but then just by accident, I found that it got bought by still another company called Bending Spoons. I forget what country they're in. France or something, I forget. Italy, maybe. Yeah, Italy. Bending Spoons is an Italian technology company founded in 2003 and based in Milan. They own and develop several popular digital producers, including Remni, Splice, and Evernote. Oh, Evernote's another ripoff. That explains a lot. I hadn't seen that before, but they also did the exact same thing. They changed everything to paid. They had a free service, and you had 30 days to get your stuff off. They did that over Christmas. So these people are real greedy, bad people. I could say something worse, but I'm trying not to get too much trouble here. That was so these companies, Bending Spoons, they've caused me a shitload of work. I'm just seeing this now. I didn't realize this when I looked at it earlier. They screwed us with Evernote. Now they're screwing us here. So this is a really massive screw job for us. So anyway, I'm not going to give a big analysis. Your analysis is as good as mine here, but it's been passed from venture capitalist to venture capitalist at least 3 times. Everybody's trying to unload it, get rid of it, and seeing if they can cash in on it. Um, and it's taken the standard Silicon Valley or venture capital approach where you try to find something that is a monopoly or a quasi-monopoly, and then you make it so nobody can leave and they're trapped, or maybe there's one other company that's sort of a competitor. But anything that this is free market or anything like that, that's long gone. They're just totally exploiting us. Um, and Meetup was a little bit like Twitter was before it was acquired, in that it used to perform a social role. It was the where we went when we wanted to meet people, when we were looking for social good, or excuse me, social connections. It was the one place, and there was people talk about distributed systems are hard to do. So for this technology, it's the one place we could all go. We had a meetup, little bike rides and stuff. That's a thing of the past. Who's going to organize a bike ride with half dozen people when you have to pay $50 a month for it? It's insane. Um, so that's long gone. They're just being completely exploitive. Um, our society right now has an epidemic of loneliness, and Meetup was one of the people. They could have been good people. They could have said, let's not maximize our profit on this. Let's try to just make this a really good system. Let's really work with our community organizers, see if we can make this a good system, help with society. Now, community organizers really have nowhere to go. I know there's a number of other competitors. I'll, of course, be looking at them, but it might be just like old email addresses. I do not want to go to Facebook groups. I would rather throw myself off a bridge than go to Facebook. That has the same problems, only worse. So this is just a horrible situation, more than disappointing. I've lost a ton of work. And now, they don't care what's going on in your own life. There's a lot of challenges right now, a lot. And I have to stop everything and try to salvage the group I've worked so hard on. I'm probably going to have to pay their extortion fee for the next month. I hate it. I think they're greedy. As far as I'm concerned, I've been a Meetup customer for like 10 years. They should pay me back every single dime I've paid because they have ripped me off. Maybe I should, and people should take them to small claims court or something. But this is a bald-faced ripoff. It's sad. It's disappointing. So as a society, something different has to happen for us to address this. The internet was supposed to make it easy to connect with people. Instead, they've made it infinitely harder. I think a huge amount of the blame belongs to Facebook, a huge amount. I think they've done untold damage to our society. They made connecting socially a high school popularity contest. They made connecting socially based on who you already know. They called that the social graph. On another social network I won't talk about right now, but a lot of the power users were saying we should be connecting on our interests. We should be building interest-based social networks, and groups and meetups and that kind of things would spin effortlessly off stuff like that. But we don't have that right now. I'm working on one as a back burner project, a highly minimalistic, almost text-based system for connecting by interest. I'm really kind of excited about it. It's kind of more of a hobby, though. I'm going to try to bump that up in priority. Whether anything will happen of that, I don't know. We have an epidemic of loneliness. People are using the wrong systems to try to connect with each other. People are using dating systems. I'm 70. I'm single. I still use dating sites occasionally. They're all manipulating people now with different ways and cheating. And people are trying to use those because there's nothing else. I had an 85-year-old woman contact me the other day. She was too old for me, but she was a perfectly nice person and a really good friend that lives next door, is 85. She might have been a great friend. We might have connected on some other level, or somebody much younger, or somebody of the same gender. This is the wrong way to do it. The internet has failed us. Things they were talking about more than 20 years ago about how the internet would make it just really easy to connect. I've connected people with amazing interests, similar business that live almost right next door to each other, never met each other. Something different has to happen. I know I have ADHD. I failed many times in my life. I know a lot about failure. This is what failure looks like. Meetup.com is failing. It's how we get out of the failure, how we manage the failure. Right now, I have a problem. I have to salvage my own group. I probably pay their extortion fees, money I don't have, money that probably go to food or little luxuries like that. So Meetup, you screwed us, but everybody else, we've got to find a better way. We've got to find another way. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video. And most of all, thank you for your